Hello again. This is Steve Stierwalt. We're trying another podcast to talk about. In our first podcast, I brought up the situation at the very end of it where the Governor's Office of Management Budget and the Department of Ag has agreed to disperse $2.2 million to the districts, to all 97 districts. There was a caveat that came along later on that said that we had $2.8 million was originally be scheduled to be used for cost share. We've had continued communications with, as I say, Governor's Office and the Department of Ag about the $2.8 million, and it seems like that there is some flexibility that is possible in that $2.8 million, that some of it more could be used for operations and in addition to the cost share. So the request that we received through IDOA was to make a proposal on, it could be one or more proposals, on how that funding could be used. So that's going to be what we're going to be talking about in this podcast. As I said in the first slide here, we were asked to respond to the Governor's Office and IDOA with a proposal. We had a conference call on August 30th, an executive board meeting with some guests joining on conference call also, to talk about this. The first question is it the job, or can we even do this as a state association, try to propose something that does not include all of our members? We are a member organization, and it is not it goes against what we stand for to propose something that does not include all of our members. The discussion that followed in that executive meeting, and the notes are available, that the Governor's Office and the IDOA said that the $2.2 million that they have agreed to dispense will not be available to the districts until they do receive a proposal from the state association. And so we're kind of in a box here. Ideally, for me, we would be waiting until we had our strategic planning process completed to propose any kind of a change on how we do things. But the Governor's Office, as we talked in the first podcast and we've heard for the last year, is after change. They want change, and they are pushing us to do the change, to make a change, I should say, before I think we're really ready. Ideally, we would have a plan for how we fit into conservation with all of our other agricultural groups. We would then go take that plan into our strategic plan and decide how we respond, how we fulfill the role that we, shall we say, hopefully will agree with on getting nutrient loss done. And then that would be the ideal time to propose changes, if there are changes to be made in how we do things. To me, this is short-circuiting that process and is, quite frankly, short-sighted, but that is where we are. So with that in mind, the executive board met on Tuesday, August 30th, and asked for proposals to be developed on how we might respond to the Governor's Office and IDOA on using this money, using the 2.8 for operations and for cost share. They're looking for ideas. Some more of the discussion in that conference call basically centered around if we don't respond, it's likely that a solution will be imposed on us. And so, even though this is not by any means ideal, that maybe we should respond. So Tuesday, August 30th, as I say, we had a conference call, and we kind of agreed to ask for proposals to be developed to try to respond to GOMB and Department of Ag's requests. And so we in that meeting we tried to think about any parameters that we needed to put into this, but we left it pretty open to try to source as many ideas as we could, with the idea then that we would have a task force that would receive those ideas and then try to boil them down and bring a proposal to a full board meeting. So we have now scheduled a full board meeting for September 6th in Springfield. I think it's at 9 o'clock, to review the work of the task force, and also to see if we can come to a agreement on a proposal that we can, I guess you'd say, live with in the short run. So September 1st, we had volunteers join me on a conference call to talk about the proposals we've received. We had 7 proposals received. We discussed in our task force this morning the relative merits of whether to bring a specific proposal to the board on the 6th, or to just let the board review all the proposals and try to come to an agreement. The suggestion of the task force was to actually not necessarily suggest 3 proposals to IDOA, but try to see if we can come to one that we think that we can at least live with. The thought was that if we give IDOA and GOMB 3 different proposals, they will naturally pick the one that they like best, as opposed to maybe the one that we as districts thought that we could possibly live with. And so our initial suggestion to the board on September 6th, we're going to bring one. We'll have one specific proposal that we'd like the board to discuss, and then we'll see if we need to go anywhere else. As I say, we had 7 different proposals. The one that we settled on to recommend to the full board was the third proposal, and this one, as all the other proposals, obviously says that the 2.2 will divide among districts, which has already been agreed to. The second part of this proposal is that $2 million of the $2.8 million would be, I guess you'd say, we don't have it figured out exactly how it can be done, but actually dispersed through land use councils. The idea from this was that one of the original idea from this third proposal was to go by the 34 districts, or the 34 organizations, I guess you say, that NRCS came up with. And the discussion in our task force was that trying to work within, the process needs to be as friendly to districts being able to, if they need to, if it looks like is the best thing to do, to partner with other districts, that instead of trying to propose that we do that by what has already been done for NRCS, that to try to keep the process as open as possible so that districts, if they choose to try to partner to get some of this NRCS work or the nutrient loss work done, that they can partner with districts that make the most sense to them. There are natural divisions, I guess you would say, that develop by watershed or by almost trade areas that districts may be more comfortable if they choose to partner with someone. We just wanted to try to make it as open as possible so that districts would partner with who it makes the most sense than us or anyone else at the state level trying to suggest who they should partner with to get some of these things done. So Land Use Council is the current suggestion, so that's where we're starting out this discussion. The flexibility that comes with that, and we need to be thinking in terms of watersheds and sharing resources. And the technical assistance seems to be, from what I've heard from other entities that are interested in getting nutrient loss done, that is what we have that no one else has. And so as we're looking at this proposal, we wanted to try to emphasize, there are districts that don't have an RC right now, but hopefully within a framework like this, that the districts that may not have that technical support that they need right now can work to gain that technical support, either by working with other districts or applying for funds to where multiple districts can hire that technical support and get it trained. So what I'm hearing from other districts, or not from other districts, from other agricultural entities, that technical support seems to be the missing link in getting nutrient loss done. So it's my suggestion that we as districts really head that direction and try to be the premier provider of that technical support. The other part of this proposal is $800,000 for cost share and demonstration projects. I really like the idea of having a pool of funds that districts will, shall we say, try to think what fits their particular needs, what conservation practices, what is important in their area. Instead of trying to develop something at the state level, saying, here, you need to fit into this, but trying to keep it as open as possible so people can use their own initiative to try to figure out what fits for their area and apply for these funds. What I heard at Land Use Council 2, one idea was that they're wanting to apply for the 319 money, but the match is a problem. So I understand that money like this could be used for a 319 match. So I'm not trying to predispose how this would happen, but we need to be getting districts thinking of how we can take the money use the money that's available from the state and multiply that money and get more work done. I think that again is change that they would like to see from us. Tuesday, September 6th, we're going to ask the board to try to come to a suggestion for the governor's office and IDOA on something that we think that we can live with. The meeting is going to be at the EPA at 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, September 6th. We'll have lunch available, and conference calling will be available. If you aren't able to make it in person, please try to join us by conference call. The meeting information should be in your email today, and Soil and Water Board members, employees. This is just like any other board meeting. Anyone who is interested in attending is certainly welcome to attend, and we would welcome any input that is available. So be thinking about in your own district what is important, what your concerns are, and after you get the chance to view these things, and talk to your land use council representative. Make sure that your land use council representative's there, and make sure they are up to speed with your thoughts and what you think that you can basically live with. Again, none of us are really wanted to have to go this direction. This is something that's being asked of us that we are responding to, and I would, as I said in the beginning, I would much prefer doing this in the context of a strategic plan where we can really look at something that hopefully will fit us in the long run. The land use council idea, if we end up going that way, I wouldn't want anybody to necessarily think that whatever, if we choose one of the options, or even another option that's presented, is not necessarily a long-term arrangement. My hope is to have the strategic planning done in January, and at that point really try to determine what is in the long-term best interest for the soil and water conservation districts to best position us to do our job of getting conservation work done across the state. So again, thank you for the work that you do, the districts and directors are doing every day across the state, and I look forward to seeing you in Springfield or by conference call next Tuesday.